Ashley. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. This is my summer book wrap-up. So this is all the books that I read during the summer months of July and August, and the ratings I gave them, what I thought of them, and things like that. Alright, let's go. Let's get right into it. So the first book that I read this summer is called 5 Survive by Holly Jackson. And that one I read in about early July or so. 4 stars I gave this one, actually. This book, if I remember correctly, sorry guys, it's been a while since I read it. The characters in this book, there was Red, who was going to be the main character, Arthur, Maddie, Simon, Raina, and Oliver. So pretty much all these friends are on a RV together, and they're going on a spring break trip, right? So they're going to, I forgot exactly where, but I know that they're all going on spring break. And honestly, it had really good vibes in the sense of like those summer vibes, you know, going on a vacation, going with your friends. It was good in that sense, and I will say it was definitely an easy read. Like, I flew through this book. That's why I gave it the 4 stars, because it was definitely thrilling. This is a thriller book. I will say I had a really good time reading it. I will say I was left, I don't want to say stumped, but I had so many mixed feelings at the end, and if you read it, you'll understand what I mean. There were certain people who I loved the whole time, certain people who I didn't like at times. It was a really good book, actually. I really liked it. And that's 5 Survive by Holly Jackson. The next book that I read this summer was called Happy Place. Oh my gosh, you guys definitely know Happy Place. And if you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. This one I gave 4 stars. The main characters in this story were Harriet, Wynn, Sabrina, Parth, Cleo, and Kimmy. So pretty much what it is it's about this group of friends, and they happen to be couple friends. They didn't meet as couples, but as things went on, you know, they were all couples. And so it's 3 couple friends. And one of the couple friends are not together anymore, but nobody knows it. So very interesting story. I feel like it was really good in the sense of like found family and just realizing that friends are in your life because you choose them, not because they have to be, and that's really special. And it made me feel nice, warm, and fuzzy. I feel like this book had a really good approach to mental illness and depression and things like that. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't a downer story. It wasn't sad the whole time by any means, but it was really good. I really liked it. It definitely had those summer vibes with these friends being on the beach. I think they were on the beach. It was either the beach or the lake, but I want to say the beach. At this beach house and just having a great time. Also, just to take a quick break, I have my Starbucks today. Let me move it this way. Today I am having the apple crisp oat milk macchiato. That's what's in here today. You'll notice all the syrup at the bottom, but oh my gosh, guys, this is my favorite Starbucks drink. I think of all time, probably. To be completely honest, it's so good. Alrighty, our next book that I read at the end of July is called Wait For It by Jen McKinley. The characters in this book were going to be named Annabelle, Nick, Sophie, Miguel, and Jackson. And this book I gave 5 stars, y'all. I really liked this one, and I think I liked it a little bit more because I could connect with it. I am a Phoenix-based booktuber, and I have lived in Phoenix my whole life, born and raised, and this book was set in Phoenix, Arizona, and I was just like, oh my goodness, I know that street. I know exactly where that is. It was just, it was super cool. And the love story was pretty cute too. I did like the love story. And I think it was just a really cool, fun summer read. Honestly, I think it's something that a lot of people don't talk about, but they should be talking about because it was a really good book. The next book I read was called Never Never by Colleen Hoover. Give me a second. Let me remember what this one was about. I got it. Now I remember. So this one was kind of interesting. Imagine The Vow mixed with Colleen Hoover. I mean, that's the best way that I can put it. It was not as cheesy as The Vow, even though The Vow is based on a real story. You know, it's definitely very cheesy, very rom-com-y. But this book was very much, it was like a drama. It was dramatic, but it had to deal with memory loss. Okay, and that's all I'm going to tell you because I don't want to give anything away. But that was Never Never by Colleen Hoover. and I really, really liked it. Give it a go, guys. I think you'll really, really enjoy it. The next book I read in July was called The American Roommate Experiment by Elena Armas, and this one I gave 5 stars too, guys. I really enjoyed this couple. I think their love story really made sense. Some people get frustrated when love stories feel, you know, very, what's the word I'm looking for, forced or very insta-lovey, and I don't think this couple had it at all. I feel like they didn't know they felt what they felt until they did, and then it was explosive and beautiful and wonderful, and I think it was a really, really good love story. I think you should really give it a try. So pretty much what the synopsis is it's about a girl whose apartment floods, and so she has to stay in her best friend's apartment. Her best friend is on her honeymoon. If you've read The Spanish Love Deception, someone from there pops up again. I won't say who. If you know, you know. And so she decides, okay, well, I'm going to go to my best friend's apartment while she's on her honeymoon, and I will stay here. And she doesn't realize that her best friend's cousin is actually staying at her best friend's apartment. And so she gets there and she's like, oh my gosh, who's this man? I love it. It's great. I love it. The next book that I read was in August, and this one was called Never Lie by Frida McFadden. I actually read this on Kindle, I believe. It was a Kindle book that you get when you have Prime. And so, Never Lie by Frida McFadden, the characters in there were going to be named Dr. Adrian, who's going to be kind of one of the main characters for sure. You get her point of view. And then there's Trisha, Ethan, and EJ. Okay, so Trisha, you also get her point of view. So this was a very, very interesting story. I'm not going to lie. I thought I had it, y'all, because this is a thriller. I thought I had it. I did not have it. I was thrown out. My idea was thrown out the window. It was just, it really had me. It surprised me. The plot twist, was there. I really, really enjoyed it. And I actually really liked the aspect of it where I was so fooled. Like, honestly, I was, what's that word they say? Bedoozled? I don't know. There's some word like that where I was just like, what? I thought I knew what was happening. I thought I knew what was going on. No, the twist was great. I highly recommend it. It's about a psychiatrist, I think she is. Yeah, she's a therapist, and she's kind of like an uppity therapist. You know, she definitely works, her practice is like from her home office. She's very expensive. She works with a lot of very high-end clients and things like that. And then one day she goes missing, and they're trying to figure out what happened to her. There's a couple trying to buy the house that she used to live in, and there they find something. That's all I'll say. I'm not going to give any more of it away. And then later on in August, oh my god, guys, okay, one of my favorite books that I read this summer, Queen Charlotte by Julia Quinn and Shonda Rhimes. All my Bridgerton girlies out there, and boys, you know, if you know, you know. I love Bridgerton so much. I've loved it since the first time that I saw the season 1. And I can't remember. I think I saw season 1 first, and then I read the books, but I didn't read them all. I've only gotten up to, I think, 4 or 5. And, oh my gosh, if you love Bridgerton, you're going to love this book. However, I will say this. If you've watched the show, Queen Charlotte, the show, which if you haven't, go do it. It's so good. It's aesthetic. It's beautiful. It's great. If you've watched the show, the book is pretty much the show. There's a few things here and there that they add, but nothing spectacular in my opinion. I was like, well, it's like I'm watching the show again. It's kind of fun because you are picturing the show as you watch it. It's kind of like a play-by-play, which is, it feels like you're watching it again. But a big part of me the whole time was just like, well, I'd rather be watching the show. And this one I actually gave 4 stars. I was really, really expecting to give it 5 stars because I was like, I love the show. I love this concept. There's no way that I'm not going to give it 5 stars. Automatic 5, right? No, honestly, like I said, it was just the show. I thought they were going to add a lot more, and they didn't. But if you love Bridgerton and if you love Queen Charlotte, please read it. You're going to have a good time regardless. I mean, 4 stars isn't bad. And the last and final book that I read in August is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And if you know, you know. I'm so late to the game on this one. I actually just returned it back to the library, so I don't have the physical copy, but Oh my gosh. Guys, I won't say that I love this book in the sense of, how should I say this? It wasn't one of my most favorite books. I'm a very big romance reader, and if you've read it, you know the romance is not the main plot. It's a little side story, but it's not the biggest aspect of this book. It's very much more fiction, drama, set in the, I think it's the 70s, the 60s or the 70s, and it's like, it's good, but it's not a romance, in my opinion. But what was really fun about reading this book was reading the book and then watching the show on Amazon Prime. That was really fun. I really, really enjoy doing that with books because I think it's really fun to see how it's brought to life compared to how we saw it in our brains whenever we were reading it, you know? I think that's really, really fun. And I really did enjoy the show. I really enjoyed how they made the songs because Daisy Jones and the Six is about a band in the 60s or the 70s. I can't remember exactly what the year is. And it's pretty much about a band, the Six, and Daisy Jones joining the band, therefore Daisy Jones and the Six. And just their journey, and their journey doesn't last very long. It was interesting how it dealt with, what's the word I'm looking for? Addiction. It did deal with addiction, and I think it dealt with it in a very real and a very open way, which I really, really liked about the book. I will say there were a lot of unlikable characters, and there were a lot of characters that you just kind of stand the whole time. It did surprise me at times. It was a quick read for me because I was enjoying it so much, and I really do think that people should read it. I think it's a really good read and then a really good watch on Amazon Prime as well. I will say the one thing that I found very surprising between watching the show and reading the book was in the book, I did not like the character, what's his name? Eddie. I think it was Eddie. Yeah. The bassist, I believe. I did not like him at all. I felt like he was cut and dry. I felt like he was always mad and upset. Not the jam. But in the show, guys, I liked him in the show. I really liked him in the show because I feel like he was so vulnerable, and he was like one of the few who actually spoke up about his feelings. If you've seen the show, you know. So for him, he was my favorite character on the show. I really enjoyed him. I think he deserved more, in my opinion, but hey, that's just me. So did a lot of other characters, though. But yeah, I think that is all the books I read in July and August. Definitely quicker than the last video. If you have any recommendations for me for my fall video, I will be making a fall recommended reads. You can put them down in the comment box below. I will also be coming out with a September TBR, which will include a lot of my fall reads because I consider September to be the beginning of fall. September 1st, it's fall time, baby. I already have my fall decorations up. I'm already drinking the fall Starbucks drinks. I am just here for it. And plus, I love September because September is my birthday month. Woo-hoo. So yeah, super excited. Thank you so much. If you watched my previous video too, if you didn't, you can go on and watch that as well. That was my mid-year wrap-up. So that one had about 19 books on it, I think. So that one's a lot longer. But hey, if you're into that sort of thing, go right on over. Thank you so much for being here. I think the AC just kicked on, so it might sound a little funny. But have a wonderful, wonderful day, guys, and I will see you next time.